know that a large portion of their money gets sucked out, and they're not going to have the funding for the police state that they're preparing, so this is something that started a while back. On December 3rd I got the ticket. I went to court December 27th, and in between the 3rd and the 27th my girlfriend renewed her registration, so I showed the judge that. He dropped that charge, and then he asked me about the driver's license. And I told him straight up, like, I have a driver's license. I didn't have it on me at the time, but I also informed the officer that I only carry it on me when it's applicable. And when I told the officer that, he's kind of like, well, you're driving right now. And the key thing is to never admit to driving. If you're not getting compensated, you should never ever admit to driving, because you're not driving legally. Based off of the legal definition of driving, you're not driving. So when I broke it down to the judge like that, he kind of wanted to rush me along and not let me say my piece, because there's a lot of other people in the courtroom, and they got to protect their investments. And if those people knew about the fraud and how understanding that the words that they're speaking in court isn't even English, it sounds deceptively similar to English, but it's actually a registered language called legalese. They have a totally different definition for common words. Like driving, we understand driving is driving a car, you're behind the wheel, but the actual legal definition of driving categorizes it as an act of commerce. And if you understand that, you pretty much can get out of any ticket. So it comes down to understanding and picking and choosing where you're gonna fight your battles in court and stuff. I ended up getting that charge dismissed as well. So, I mean, next time I see that cop, I'm gonna make sure I don't have my license, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, you sent me to court last time, and I beat that. You know what I mean? What? Because it's all about, knowledge is power, man. And if we understand the fraud for what it is, that's the only way you're gonna be able to unravel it. And I think that Dr. Paul's messages, just preaching towards constitutionality and away from maritime admiralty, is the key, because it's going to give the sovereignty movement a little bit more credibility, which I know the mainstream really fears, because they don't want people to recognize what power they really have, and just the fact that you got to understand where the authority comes from for the government to even act upon you. Everything happens with your consent. That's why we can bitch and moan about all the wrongdoings of the government and the overstepping of the boundaries, but it's basically consent through ignorance, because we choose not to do the research or try to understand the realm of government, the realm of lawful versus legal, and stuff like that. So I'm gonna recommend you guys go out there, look up Maritime Admiralty versus Constitutionality. There's a good book you guys might want to read that really breaks the fraud wide open, as far as the money system, the subversion of rights from the Constitution and stuff like that. There's a good book. It's called They Own It All, or They Own Everything, Including You. That's an awesome fucking book, man. I read that book in one night, in maybe like 3 hours. So it's a good read. There's a lot of good, it cites pretty much all the information that it's drawing to your attention. So I recommend everybody go out there, check that out, man. And let's start that education process I was talking about, man. Not just on Dr. Paul's issues, but on some issues that people might consider fringe or out of the norm. But I mean, in the world of lies, truth is treason. I'll holler.